Yes again, gangs, and welcome back to This Game is Cracked. Phoenix Wright. Well, last left off, we got to the final day of the trial. We found out that Damon Gant was hiding evidence, and we found that out in his office. Dick Gumshoe got fired because he let us in. Anyway, we got a lot of evidence. Oh yeah, we also found out that Lana Sky was taking orders from Damon Gant, as we, didn't tell it directly, but it's pretty obvious. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgy boy! Knowing you already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right? And Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? Phased away. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. We're in court, boys. We're in court. Where's the defendant? Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the believed chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant? I'm a ghost. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Archie, back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Oh shit. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana!
Objection!
You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claims does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening! It appears the time for verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, boy. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you wouldn't have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its fourth witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it will be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgy Boy has decided to take the horse by the reins. I like the pin she got. Like, now then, witness, please state your occupation, your name and occupation, and the pouty face. My name is Emma Skye. I'm not gonna do the complete girly voice. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer, Joe Darkey, of the Joe Darkey killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgyboy, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Witness testimony! 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgyboy, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Okay, this is gonna be hard. The cross-examination! I was waiting in my sister's office that day.
Hold it!
2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I always sit in my sister's desk. and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised me to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Darky. He was a serial killer. Joe Darky was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Darky proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gat's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Darky's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gaunt and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about that. Neil Marshall has just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Darky. When Darky grabbed me, I thought I was good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in? I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Darky, just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. Yes, there was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then the lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Humor. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew, I believe has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken? But I drew it, I swear. But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining it. This picture that Emma drew reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. This scene that imprinted an image in your mind. Could you please describe it to us? The man raised his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Well, I have the picture, but I want to see what everything we can press on. That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it as just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at the moment? I believe you testified that Joe Darky was holding you hostage. When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Darky and I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie. But Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much as she can. Okay, I got the picture. It's this one, right? Oh yeah, here it is, boys. Wait, can I observe it? Okay, let's show this. Oh yeah, Mr. Edgy Boy. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, this is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Oh! What's this? Yes! What is that? Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew! Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutors in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgy Boy, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgy Boy, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order! Order! But, Miss Guy, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor! Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your R's are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more to the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Edgy Boy list. Yes, that's quite inconceivable. That's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgy Boy. It's possible. Let me... Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing! The pot? Oh! That's that thing! The blue badger, come on guys. That thing dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess it was out of scrap paper. Evidence is restored and updated with the court record. Very well, witness. Can I look at it? Oh, no. Ooh. Ooh. Wait, was that thing there 2 years ago? Was it there 2 years ago? Damn. Or was it newly drawn on? No, it can't be. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Okay.
Witness testimony!
Emma's picture.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. The picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Darkey about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin cross-examination.
Cross-examination!
Emma's picture.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago.
Yep. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During the time the investigation team was reorganized, Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute. Can I look at this? No. Okay. They don't really look like they match each other. But if you look at a silhouette-wise... No, I can't make it out to look like that. Maybe upside down? Ooh. Upside down it might look like that. Huh. Because that thing wasn't made 2 years ago. Yeah, I can make it look like that's upside down. Was that the thing? On the tricks of Demon and God Little Sky, 2 or 3 days later, memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows.
So the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who came to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
So you were knocked to the floor?
Darky had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed?
After that, I must have fainted.
You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Did you really need to torture this girl any further? What? I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course, this is the exact scene.
I wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with... It wasn't influenced in any way from the talks with with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her in her memory, Mr. Wright?
No, of course not.
I'd better watch out. He might find some way to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. There is?
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago.
Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. First, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky, 2 or 3 days later.
That's strange. She claims exactly the scene she was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here.
Alright. Okay, I got a hint from Wright that there's something wrong here.
That the knife? That is not a knife? Is that what we're saying? That doesn't look like a knife. What is the contradiction? Single stab wound, piercing heart, lung, assessment time for blast loss. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. Is this a knife? Huh. Huh. I press on again. Sorry for asking me. Is it the knife? That's the only contradiction I can kind of see here, because she didn't draw it as a knife. She draws it as like a block. Should I present the knife then? Nah. Ah, fuck. Okay, so it's not the knife. This picture shows exactly what I saw at that instant. Okay, press again. Okay, left-handed, window, flashed. Neil Marshall is there. But they're both standing. Should I show this picture? Because, well, can we question this vase thing? Why the masket's there? Because she drew that too, right? Stabbed in the back, die from... Oh, this one says stabbed in the back. Can I present this? Like this one? Okay, this one shows that he's about to stab him in the front. But according to the autopsy, it says he stabbed in the back. This one? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture of the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? That he's stabbing it in the front. How do I do this? The whole picture is the contradiction. The witness facing front. Come on.
Here? The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife and the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see that its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If you recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Darky was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
Objection!
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see the problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. What is the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
Objection!
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. What does this mean?
Objection!
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
Objection!
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Objection!
Not so fast, Mr. Itchy Boy. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence. You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! Order! 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 Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King's Prosecutor's Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Darky along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Darky fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Darky. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. Well, it's a sword from this! Like, why is it missing? And the picture here shows us that the sword tip is missing from the shield. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Darky's. Could there have been one? There's another one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Like, do I show the picture? Fuck! Okay, I only have 3 chances, like... I can only show this. It's this one.
Take that!
The answer lies in the past, 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgy Boy? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding.
That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Darkey's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was all in likelihood from this award.
Order! Order! Order!
Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was giving this broken shield a knife. When he chased after Joe Darkey, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
Objection!
But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgy Boy? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising a knife would have been Mr. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Ow!
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait! I remember now! I remember everything!
Witness?
Mr. Edgy Boy!
What is it?
Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list?
The one with that picture scribbled in the back?
On the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What?
You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. At this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? This should be interesting.
But I don't think the blue badger was there. Because I already suspected that it's this, right? You guys follow? It's this upside down. Oh, I can turn it the other way.
Like, it makes sense, right?
Turn it, like, maybe this way. It actually looks more correct this way, actually. Well, what do you know? And if I look at that picture, right? It makes sense. But we'll see more next time. Phoenix Wright. It's been like, well, here we go. I'm gonna leave you guys with a high five.